After the man's death, he is turned into a statue, admired by all. Now, he is reincarnated with the memories of his previous life. Li Yunxiao, you dare to sleep in my class! A flying chalk startles Li Yunxiao from his sleep, and he looks at the statue outside the window, sighing. Has it been 15 years since I last died? The teacher angrily interrogates him. How many ways are there to refine ordinary weapons? Instead of answering the question, Li Yunxiao stares at the teacher. This girl's figure is so hot, and she's wearing a red lotus battle robe. In my past life, I should have had her bear me a son. Unfortunately, her cultivation stagnates at the 4th level, and if she doesn't break through, she'll be useless. The teacher feels Li Yunxiao's burning gaze but doesn't dare to resist. How could I, a 4th level cultivator, be distracted by a teenager? The teacher's face becomes serious. Answer quickly. How many ways are there to refine weapons? Li Yunxiao strikes a lazy pose. There are a total of 48 ways. The class erupts in laughter. Li Yunxiao, the waste of the Li family, can't even answer a textbook question correctly. The textbook clearly states there are 36 ways. Li Yunxiao casually says. Didn't Yang Di forget the 12 refining methods created by Wu Feiyang? The classmates mock him even more. This kid is so desperate that he's talking nonsense now. The teacher slams the desk. Li Yunxiao is right. Wu Feiyang was the 3rd-ranked martial artist on the Sky Continent and a top refiner. He indeed created 12 unique refining techniques. The classroom falls silent. The red-haired teacher thinks. Li Yunxiao is a known waste in the martial art. Could his talent lie in refining? The teacher continues to question with skepticism. Why do you add sky essence sand during the refining process? If you can answer this fluently, you don't have to attend my class anymore. Li Yunxiao is unfazed. Sky essence sand isn't necessary for refining. It's just added as an ingredient when ordinary refining techniques are not proficient enough. The teacher is satisfied with Li Yunxiao's answer. That's right. Why does the refining process fail when sky essence sand is added? Sky essence sand is water-based, so it can't be used in fire attribute refining. The red-haired teacher has a sudden realization. Then how do you remove the influence of sky essence sand when refining the elixir? Li Yunxiao generously shares his knowledge. Treat sky essence sand as an impurity, and use the refining method to remove it. The teacher has an epiphany. No wonder I always fail. Sky essence sand can be used this way. Many refiners can't solve this problem in their lifetime, but a student has just solved it. The teacher runs off, shouting, Li Yunxiao, you must come to the next class. Everyone else can study on their own. After saying this, the teacher plans to seclude herself and reflect on the new knowledge. Li Yunxiao leaves the classroom under the envious gazes of his classmates, as he doesn't have to attend the classes anymore. Li Yunxiao heads towards the capital of the Tianwu Kingdom, the birthplace of his foolish disciple Yang Di, who even erected a statue for him in the highest place. At least the kid has a conscience. I didn't pamper him for nothing. Li Yunxiao sighs as he looks at the statue. 15 years later, I, Wu Feiyang, reincarnate as Li Yunxiao, but fate is unjust, turning me into this trash with blocked meridians. Now, the only solution is to find Yang Di through the Refiners Guild and refine this useless body. If successful, I can recover my cultivation in just a few years. With the experience from 2 lifetimes, I will definitely surpass the 5th rank and strive for higher levels. In my previous life, I was Wu Feiyang, looking down upon the world, ranked 3rd. In this life, I, Li Yunxiao, will stand at the pinnacle of this world, shocking all the heroes. However, upon entering the gates of the Refiners Guild, Li Yunxiao is informed by the receptionist that Yang Di had retired 20 years ago. For Li Yunxiao right now, unblocking his meridians is the most important thing, as it is difficult for martial artists to cultivate the 5 paths once they pass the age of 15. Just as he writes a prescription and is about to hand it to a beautiful receptionist, it is suddenly snatched away by an old man named Jia Rong, claiming to be a first-class refiner. Surprisingly, after taking a glance, he crumples the prescription into a ball, deems it useless, and casually discards it like trash. Li Yunxiao is instantly furious. In the past, any prescription he casually wrote was considered a priceless treasure, but now, it's treated like a piece of worthless paper by the foolish old man in front of him. Unexpectedly, Li Yunxiao merely sniffs the air, causing the supremely arrogant Jia Rong to lower his stance and follows Li Yunxiao's order unresistingly. Li Yunxiao says solemnly, "Master Jia Rong, looking at the dullness of your fingers, it seems that you've recently cheated using the Hell Wind Stone in order to pass the refiner's examination, which led to this, right? Your body has a strong smell of blood flame orchid, so you must have wanted to use it to counteract the side effects of the stone." Jia Rong, whose secret has been exposed, breaks out in a cold sweat. Li Yunxiao regretfully says, "With your half-baked knowledge of medicines, you're only making it worse. Now, isn't it true that every day at noon, your forehead, your neck, and your back acupoints are in unbearable pain?" Jia Rong trembles and turns his head. "You're talking nonsense." Li Yunxiao looks at him with pity and says, "A talented refining master like you, it's a shame that you'll have to cut off your right hand and destroy your dantian to survive." Jia Rong is terrified. "You're just trying to scare me with your words." Before leaving, Li Yunxiao waves his hand. "I wanted to teach you how to resolve this problem, but it seems you're still stubborn." Jia Rong immediately stops Li Yunxiao from leaving. "Quickly tell me the method to resolve this issue." Who would have thought that Jia Rong, who was so unreasonable just a moment ago, would become completely submissive after making eye contact with Li Yunxiao? In his eyes, he sees a chest of secrets, like a vast journey, leaving him puzzled. The young man in front of him is just a teenager, so how could his gaze be so sharp, capable of disturbing someone's soul? Soon after, Jia Rong begs Li Yunxiao humbly in front of everyone at the Refiners Guild. Li Yunxiao responds with only one question: "Where is the list of ingredients I gave you earlier?" In the blink of an eye, Jia Rong hurriedly picks up the prescription and hands it over with both hands. Under everyone's astonished gazes, Li Yunxiao wipes a large amount of snot on the prescription and rubs it vigorously. Calmly, he tells him, "When you've gathered everything on the list, come find me at Jialan Academy." In the end, he bestows the prescription to Jia Rong, who is furious but dares not to speak up. Li Yunxiao turns around and says, "Face isn't given by others. You're the one who threw it away yourself." At this moment, Li Yunxiao's figure appears incredibly imposing in Jia Rong's eyes. He reminds Jia Rong, "Your right hand can only last for 3 more days. If you're late, you'll never touch refining again in this lifetime." However, more than half of the ingredients on the prescription are unknown to Jia Rong. Before leaving, Li Yunxiao says, "Grind white moon, bamboo leaf, and gray wolf's body together into a powder. It can relieve your pain for 2 days." As Li Yunxiao's oppressive presence fades away, Jia Rong clenches the prescription and resentfully says, "He's not a martial artist, nor a refiner, so why does he seem so superior when standing before me?" With a hint of hatred in his heart, Jia Rong thinks, "Li Yunxiao, just wait for me to get my hands on the solution. It'll make sure you suffer." Meanwhile, the receptionist reports the ingredients on Li Yunxiao's prescription to Lord Liangwen, a second-tier refiner. However, Liangwen is also unfamiliar with the prescription and has never seen most of the ingredients before. The prescription's intricacy is simply unprecedented. His intuition tells him that this concoction will bring great benefits to martial artists. Li Yunxiao returns to the academy residence, eager to relax. It will take another 5 days to collect all the ingredients for the prescription. Although his Bodhis meridians are blocked, he can still practice physically. The Supreme Emperor, Ao Chang Kong's ultimate technique, the Tyrant Sky Body Refining Art, exists within Li Yunxiao's soul. In his previous life, he obtained the technique by chance but never had the opportunity to practice it, as it remained in his soul. He wonders what it would feel like to practice the Tyrant Sky Body Refining Art. He was originally a perfect genius in martial arts and magic, once one of the 7 elders of the Flame Warrior Guild, and titled the 3rd Martial Emperor in history. Unfortunately, he never managed to break through to the supreme level before his death. Even his least talented disciple became a dominant figure in the world of martial arts. The prescription he casually gave in his previous life was hailed as a priceless treasure, but now he has become a little nobody with blocked meridians. In his previous life, he looked down on all living beings, seeing nothing but pain and suffering. In this life, he is determined to stand at the peak of the world. Since Li Yunxiao can't cultivate his meridians for now, he will focus on body refining. The ultimate body refining techniques of the current first, second, and fifth emperors are hidden within his soul. He can't help but wonder what it would feel like to practice the tyrant sky body refining art with such ambition. As soon as he tries to cultivate the technique, a heart-wrenching pain comes from his back. This technique is so cruel that just getting started requires enduring agonizing pain. But Li Yunxiao doesn't give up. Instead, he becomes more determined. With a loud bang, he barely manages to execute the first stage of the tyrant sky body refining art, Crescent Moon. However, he suffers an incredibly powerful backlash, getting thrown several meters away and barely stabilizing himself against a wall. He didn't expect the technique to be so challenging. However, thinking of the mighty Emperor Ao Chang Kong, Li Yunxiao is filled with determination to continue practicing despite the pain. After hundreds of attempts, Li Yunxiao is no longer satisfied with maintaining the current situation. The tyrant sky body refining art has already laid a solid foundation for his body. To further improve his body, he needs to practice in a gravity chamber. Li Yunxiao notices that most of the students who voluntarily come here to practice come from poor families. As he passes through the portal, he becomes breathless due to his weight suddenly increasing from 100 pounds to over 1,000. Although his body quickly adapts to the increased gravity, the weight would be enough to suffocate and kill someone without the strength to withstand it. To practice body refining, he must wait for the crowded room to become available. Li Yunxiao can accurately monitor the condition of the practitioners inside by simply using his spiritual sense. He happens to stand at the door of room number 13, and coincidentally, the door opens the next second. He strides in under the astonished gazes of the other students. However, just as he is about to close the door, a large hand stops him. The man respectfully introduces himself as a fellow student and asks if Li Yunxiao could give up his practice time for him. Li Yunxiao retorts rudely, "Get lost!" The man, Yu-He, loses face and his expression stiffens. "You must be new here. If you need anything in the future, just mention my name." Li Yunxiao frowns and refuses. Yu-He looks at Li Yunxiao in disbelief, then bursts out in anger. "You, a weakling without any strength, dare to speak to me like this?" Following that, Yu-He takes on a captor's posture. "Today, I'll teach you the rules that newbies must follow." Little does Yu-He know, Li Yunxiao's actual strength is much greater than his own. Yu-He arrogantly says, "I'm in a good mood today, so I'll just break all your meridians and spare your dog life." As he shouts and prepares to strike, Li Yunxiao comments, "Your fierce tiger fist has the form, but lacks essence." These words are like pouring oil on fire, making Yu-He even more furious. He leaps forward, raising his fists to attack Li Yunxiao's back. In a split second, Li Yunxiao's legs react faster than his brain. In less than half a second, an aura of a green dragon rises behind him. Under the immense pressure of Li Yunxiao's energy, Yu-He's eyes fill with fear. He thinks about escaping but feels like a lamb entering a tiger's den. The overwhelming sensation feels like it's waiting for him to walk right into it. Just as Yu-He tries to struggle in desperation, he finds his own energy trapped, unable to break free. However, because Li Yunxiao lacks strength, his final attack only causes Yu-He's arm to be sore for a while. Yu-He knows very well that if Li Yunxiao had cultivated his energy, his arm would have been useless by now. Yu-He turns to the girl and says reassuringly, "Lando, just wait for 5 more minutes, I'll deal with this brat." However, the girl Lando pays no attention to Yu-He. Instead, she evaluates Li Yunxiao with a superior attitude. "I didn't expect that you can't cultivate energy, but you've practiced martial art technique just to win me over. However, without the support of strength, your moves are just for show and can't be taken seriously." Li Yunxiao admits generously, "Yeah, as you said. It seems that before Feiyang's soul awoke, he used to madly chase after that woman, Lando. He didn't expect the girl not only to insult him but also to humiliate him in public. But Lando has no idea that the Li Yunxiao in front of her is the reincarnation of Gu Feiyang. Out of respect for his past self, Li Yunxiao doesn't mention his past. Facing Yuhi's provocation, Li Yunxiao gives him a stern look, then silently turns and walks into the gravity chamber, closing the door to begin his cultivation. What Li Yunxiao doesn't know is that his gaze alone caused Yuhi to lose all his fighting desire, turning it into a mental barrier for his cultivation, leaving him open to ridicule. In the end, he loses himself amidst the laughter. In front of Li Yunxiao, there are now 2 black iron statues. Over the past century, anyone who could leave a mark on these iron stones has become a strong figure in the Tianwu kingdom. Li Yunxiao's goal for this closed-door cultivation is to shatter the indestructible iron statues that have stood for 100 years. Without hesitation, he uses his fists to attack the black iron statues, but he doesn't feel any pain. Under 10 times gravity, his body's training efficiency also increases tenfold. If he continues training like this, in 3 days Li Yunxiao's body will reach the level of a martial apprentice physically, and his chances of unclogging his meridians will increase to 60%. Meanwhile, Li Yunxiao's one-shot victory over Yuhi spreads like wildfire. Time quickly reaches the 3rd day, and the door of the gravity chamber opens. Li Yunxiao walks out with his battered body, but his eyes are full of energy. Everyone is amazed at how he could beat Yuhi with his physical strength alone, and how he trains so desperately. Soon, there are exclamations at the entrance of training room number 13. The students gather around to find that the iron statues, which are 10 times harder than diamond, have been smashed by Lin Zhao's bare hands. They are shocked and have goosebumps. However, what they don't know is that Li Yunxiao is not only uninjured, but his body's recovery ability has become even stronger. Just as Li Yunxiao marvels at the magic of his powerful body training, Han Fati suddenly rushes in to inform Li Yunxiao of the bad news, telling him to pack his things and flee. Because Li Yunxiao had previously beaten Yuhi into a state of autism, his big brother has now come for revenge. The whole body of Lan Fei in the distance is surrounded by purple energy. Li Yunxiao, you dare to hurt my people! Today I will completely cripple you! Li Yunxiao mocks. Aren't you just a Dollar Tree mirror? You even have to show off by emitting light from your whole body, fearing that others won't know. Indeed, Lan Fei immediately gives Li Yunxiao 2 choices, to cry and kowtow 100 times or to have his 4 fingers disabled. But Li Yunxiao isn't afraid and approaches Lan Fei step by step. His murderous eyes tell Lan Fei that only he is allowed to play the pretentious game. Lan Fei instantly feels his whole body's hair standing on end. The person in front of him is definitely stronger than himself. Unexpectedly, Lan Fei is too proud to admit defeat and pulls out his long sword to charge at Li Yunxiao. He knows that if he doesn't make a move now, he will lose the courage to do so. This fear seems innate, preventing him from unleashing his true power. Li Yunxiao lifts his heavy sword, praising Lan Fei for his decisiveness and fearlessness. As the two clash, Li Yunxiao withstands the attack using his physical strength but is still pushed back by Lan Fei's energy for 5 seconds, leaving a crack on the iron sword. Lan Fei is shocked that this ordinary person, without any energy, can withstand his full-strength attack. Li Yunxiao not only feels relaxed but even a bit unsatisfied, as he hasn't had the chance to fight for a long time. He points his sword at Lan Fei and offers to give him some pointers. At these words, Lan Fei instantly becomes furious. He thinks, since Li Yunxiao can take on his martial arts, he must not be able to handle his sword technique, which is like flowing clouds and ever-changing. However, Li Yunxiao mocks him as a joke. Lan Fei is immediately angered and challenges Li Yunxiao, who remains unafraid and even says he would be honored to learn from Lan Fei. In an instant, the sword energy gathered by Lan Fei is shattered by Li Yunxiao's iron sword and sent flying to the wall, leaving the crowd dumbfounded. What's even more surprising is Lan Fei himself, who feels a sense of admiration for Li Yunxiao's sword technique. If he wasn't fully conscious, he would have knelt down and begged to be his disciple. The next second, a foot size 11 and Lan Fei cheek make intimate contact. Lan Fei doesn't recover from the blow until Li Yunxiao plants a large sword in front of him, asking if he wants to keep his next generation. You use too much force. My hand is numb. What if I accidentally cut you? What would happen to your family's legacy? In this critical moment, Lan Fei changes his attitude and starts begging for mercy, agreeing to anything Li Yunxiao says. Li Yunxiao rubs his hands together and says that if Lan Fei wants to save his little bird, he can pay him off. After some looting, Li Yunxiao makes a fortune. As he prepares to let Lan Fei go, he notices a jade pendant on Lan Fei's waist. With a swoosh, Li Yunxiao flicks the pendant off with his waist. To save his little brothers, Lan Fei has no choice but to hand over the jade pendant, symbolizing his family's core status. Lan Fei will never let today's humiliation go, but Li Yunxiao, the genius, knows the value of the jade pendant. It's made of a precious refining material called 5-color divine stone. As long as he refines it into that mysterious artifact, the success rate of unblocking his meridians will be as high as 90%. Jiao Rong cheats his way to becoming a respected first-tier alchemist by using the Hell Wind Stone and the Blood Flame Orchid. However, due to side effects, his realm falls back down. The wound that should take 50 years to heal, but Li Yunxiao claims to heal and make him become a rank 1 alchemist again in just 5 days. Kid, who are you trying to fool? Even if my soul power hasn't faded, I'm not confident I can break through the ranks of a rank 1 alchemist in just 5 days. Li Yunxiao says, wondering what's worth lying about when Jiao Rong is merely useless at current state. Although Jiao Rong is skeptical deep down, he can't pass up the enormous temptation if it's true. His attitude changes immediately. Are you really sure you can help me recover my soul power in 5 days? Li Yunxiao confidently replies, not just recovering soul power, but turning him into a real rank 1 alchemist. Jiao Rong is shocked. How can you help me? Li Yunxiao's answer is simple and forceful. Become his servant. Jiao Rong feels tricked, but Li Yunxiao casually asks if he thinks he's even worthy of being his servant. Jiao Rong's eyes widen, as if becoming Li Yunxiao's servant is the most honorable thing in the world. Despite the fact that the kid revealed his illness and offered a solution, having a 30-year-old master serve a 15-year-old seems audacious. In the next second, a soul force more powerful than Jiao Rong's erupts from Li Yunxiao's eyes, causing Jiao Rong to fall to his knees. The experience feels like a turtle encountering a giant shark, helpless and on the verge of being devoured. At this moment, Jiao Rong has no doubt that Li Yunxiao is destined for greatness, and he would regret not seizing this opportunity for the rest of his life. I'll be your servant, Jiao Rong sincerely admits, feeling ashamed. A soul cultivation method is handed to him, and Li Yunxiao takes a breath, instructing Jiao Rong to practice this method for 5 days. If he can't become a first-level alchemist by then, it means he's not talented enough to be a servant. After seeing the method, Jiao Rong's pupils shrink to the size of green beans. It's a soul refining technique, which is a high-level technique for soul cultivator. In Li Yunxiao's eyes, this is merely the most basic soul refining method. The next second, Jiao Rong addresses Li Yunxiao as Master, but Li Yunxiao modestly instructs him to call him Young Master Yun instead. He promises to reward for a good performance and dismisses Jiao Rong for the time being. After returning to his room, Li Yunxiao begins meditating and cultivating, knowing that becoming a powerful figure in this new life is only a matter of time. Li Yunxiao's most significant advantage is not his memories from previous life or powerful physical cultivation technique, but a soul cultivation technique, named Divine Soul Expansion Technique, that he discovered in the Heavenly Dao Mountain range before his death. This method, recorded in the Great Eye Scripture, is unprecedented, and Li Yunxiao's rebirth must be related to it. With the help of this technique, the soul power consumed in the previous encounter with Jiao Rong is fully restored in the time it takes to drink a cup of tea. In fact, cultivators on the Tianwu continent are divided into 2 types: the martial cultivators and the alchemy cultivators. The former are warriors who cultivate physique and body techniques, while the latter are alchemists who cultivate soul, refining techniques, and refining tools. No matter which path one takes, they can become a formidable existence. Those who can enter the heavenly ranking are even more exceptional, as they have reached the peak of both physical and soul cultivation. In his past life, Yunxiao's soul power had been unrivaled, but he was limited to the peak of the 9 heavens realm due to his physical body's constraints. This motivated him to persistently seek the tyrant body cultivation technique, aiming to strengthen his body and overcome this limitation. Only by reaching the peak of body, energy, and soul can one break into the legendary 10 worlds realm. The 5-colored divine stone he obtained by chance marks the beginning of Li Yunxiao's journey. Li Yunxiao takes out a golden crystal, shatters it into powder with a loud shout, and arranges it into a skilled array. Next, he throws the 5-colored divine stone, shattering it with a single sword strike, extracting the most exquisite 5-colored divine seal from within, and then using his soul power to control all the medicinal materials collected by Jiarong. The fragments of the divine stone must not be wasted either. Relying on his powerful mental power, he gradually refines all the medicine and materials in front of him into a liquid state, refining medicine with his right hand and refining energy with his left. He mixes the medicine while refining the divine void stone into needles at the same time. In just a few minutes, he simultaneously completes the refining of the 5-colored divine needles and the fusion of the medicine. In the next second, Li Yunxiao lets the divine needles rush towards the medicine. With a bang, the medicine perfectly fuses with the needles, and finally, he inserts the divine needles into his body, controlling them with his highly refined soul power and stimulating his acupoints. The medicine flows through the divine needles to his acupoints, gradually converging into Li Yunxiao's body. He shouts, opening all the acupoints in one go. Unfortunately, the 5-colored divine energy is not enough, only helping Li Yunxiao open up 5 acupoints. There are still 4 divine stones left in the Lan family, and he must get them all. What Li Yunxiao doesn't know is that while he's plotting against the Lan family, Lan Fei is also harboring a belly full of revenge, and tonight, he's planning to make Li Yunxiao's reputation hit rock bottom. This guy gets framed for having a pile of girl underwears on his bed. On top of that, someone even imitates the goddess Luo Lando's handwriting and delivers a love letter to Li Yunxiao in the middle of the night, inviting him to a romantic meeting spot called Little Wind Chime. Lan Fei's purpose is to force Li Yunxiao out of the academy. Li Yunxiao eagerly opens the letter, wondering what Luo Lando, a woman of questionable reputation, is up to today. Just as Lan Fei's minions see Li Yunxiao leaving the dorm, they prepare to sneak into his room to plant some stuffs. Little do they know, Li Yunxiao has been watching them from afar. As they approach the dorm, Li Yunxiao already senses them with his soul power. He returns to his room and is surprised to find not only a pile of girl underwears on his bed, but that they're still warm. Li Yunxiao sighs. Lan Fei, you want to play dirty? Then let's play! As he arrives at Little Wind Chime, he hears strange noises from the bushes and even cries for help. A girl in a white dress, disheveled, runs to Li Yunxiao for help. Senior, please save me! Unexpectedly, Li Yunxiao pulls out a sword and points it at the girl, telling her not to move if she doesn't want to die. Although the girl is trembling, she desperately explains. Senior, someone tried to assault me. If you save me, I'll agree to anything. The girl never expected Li Yunxiao not to fall for her act. A man grabs the girl and says to Li Yunxiao, Get lost, kid! This girl is mine. He then tears the girl's shirt off. The man looks smug and tells Li Yunxiao, Get lost, young master, I'm about to get busy. The girl still tries to ask for help, but Li Yunxiao just loosens his collar. Don't worry, baby, I'll save you soon. The girl slaps the useless young master away and runs towards Li Yunxiao. The man becomes furious. Kid, I am the captain of the Forbidden Guard. Louis Tian glances at Li Yunxiao, who is stopping the fierce girl from attacking. It's not me who's going to save you, but them. The next second, a group of students and teachers appear from the woods, including the dean. Seeing that their plan to frame Li Yunxiao has failed, they immediately scold Louis Tian. To keep their cover, Louis Tian can only bow his head and admit his mistake. The dean slaps the man, apparently educating him but actually blaming him for his clumsy acting. Li Yunxiao was supposed to lose face, but Louis Tian has become his scapegoat. The dean pretends to comfort the girl while Li Yunxiao takes the opportunity to tease her. Don't be scared, Junior. I saw you sweating, but with your brother here, nobody can bully you. The girl realizes that Li Yunxiao must have seen through their tricks from the start. Li Yunxiao turns to the teacher and cheerfully says, Don't worry, Teacher Foam, I'll take care of Meng Wu. Lan Fei, hiding in the shadows, frowns as his plan fails, but he has more tricks up his sleeve. At this point, the two minions who went to plant the evidence return, reporting, Boss, I put everything you told me to. Lan Fei frowns, wondering how Yunxiao will handle this. In the next scene, Yunxiao casually wraps his arm around Meng Wu, saying, The protagonists should make their appearance soon. As the dean takes Louis Tian away, Yunxiao boldly lifts the girl into his arms. Junior sister, don't be afraid. You are safe now. The girl, now realizing the plan backfired, hides in Yunxiao's embrace, as he takes off his coat to cover her, asking her dorm mates to take her away. Just as everyone is about to leave, Lan Fei suddenly appears with a group of girls. Wait! Teacher, it's great that you're here. The academy has recently been plagued by a perverted thief who's been stealing the personal clothes of many female students. Someone saw the thief running towards Little Wind Bell. Yunxiao tries to change the subject. What does the missing items of the female students have to do with you, Lan Fei? This instantly sparks discussions among the girls. They notice how excited the usually cold and indifferent nobleman gets when talking about this issue. Lan Fei, finding it hard to save face, points at Yunxiao and yells, Why are you so defensive? I bet you're the thief, Yunxiao. To prove your innocence, let everyone search your dormitory. If you refuse, you'll be the prime suspect. Yunxiao acts nonchalant. Why should I do as you say? Who do you think you are? A clown in the crowd immediately steps forward. Judging by your reaction, Yunxiao, you must be hiding something. Yunxiao pretends to plead to the dean. If Lan Fei doesn't find any evidence, please, teacher, be my witness and make him apologize to me. Seeing there's someone to officiate, Yunxiao hurriedly takes out a flag. Please, everyone, forgive me for a moment. Today I, Yunxiao, will prove my innocence.